What every woman secretly wants from men, psychology tips. The best relationships are the ones where you never stop trying to impress each other, not with grand gestures, but with quiet consistency. Unknown. Have you ever really paused and asked yourself, what do women secretly want from men? It's not jewelry that collects dust in a box. It's not empty flattery that fades the moment you turn away. And it's definitely not noisy attention with no real substance. What women crave goes much deeper. It's subtle, steady, and quietly powerful. It's the kind of presence that speaks to their mind, stirs their heart, and makes them feel genuinely understood, something most men never master. Here's the truth. Women aren't chasing flashy words or over-the-top performances. They notice the man who carries himself with calm confidence, who doesn't need to prove a thing, and who commands respect without forcing it. That man doesn't beg for attention, he becomes the attention. His presence lingers in her thoughts, his energy draws her in, and without even trying, he stands out from the crowd. And that's exactly what separates ordinary men from the ones she can't stop thinking about. Today, we're peeling back the curtain on those hidden desires women rarely say out loud, the unspoken signals, the qualities that sink deeper than words. When you grasp these truths, your presence becomes magnetic, your words carry weight, and your confidence naturally turns irresistible. So, before we dive in, drop a bold "I am the ruler" in the comments if you're ready to rise above average. Not just to learn these secrets, but to live them, to embody the kind of man women respect, admire, and silently crave. Because by the time you finish this video, you won't just understand what women want, you'll begin becoming the man they cannot ignore. The man who radiates strength in a world full of noise, and whose quiet confidence leaves the loudest impression. 1. Emotional safety. Emotional safety is not a mystery. It's a daily practice, and if you want to know what every woman secretly wants, but rarely says out loud, start here. Give her a place where her heart can unclench, where she doesn't have to audition for approval, where you are steady when life is not. That is the real flex. Don't confuse strength with silence, hers or yours. Be the man who notices the subtle stuff, the pause before she answers, the way she reorganizes her schedule for everyone else, the laugh that sounds bright but lands flat. You must listen like a lighthouse, constant, calm, and pointed toward her, not toward your own need to fix. Use these psychology tips in real time. Mirror back a few of her words so she knows you heard them. Name the feeling instead of debating the facts, and ask second questions that invite depth. What felt hardest about that, instead of why didn't you do X? Don't interrogate, be curious. Don't minimize, validate. That is how you turn down the storm. Offer love advice she can feel, not just hear. Keep her confidences like valuables. Keep your tone warm even when you disagree, and keep your promises like they are appointments with your integrity. You must build small rituals that tell her she's safe. Text when you'll be late. Put your phone down when she's sharing something personal. Sit nearer than usual when she's anxious. And say the simple, anchoring things out loud, "I'm here. Take your time." You don't have to explain. Don't try to solve your reactivity. Be unflappable when emotions surge. Breathe, lower your voice, and let the moment be big without making it bigger. These aren't tricks. They're dating tips that become character. That is the difference between performance and presence. If you want practical psychology tips, remember this sequence. See her, notice, say it, reflect, stay. Don't bolt when feelings are messy. You must also understand boundaries are part of safety. Tell the truth with kindness, say no without guilt, and own your errors quickly. I got defensive. I'm sorry. Don't keep score. Keep learning. Be dependable in small, boring ways. Show up when you said you would. Follow through on the thing you said you'd fix around the house. Check in after a hard day instead of waiting for her to bring it up. That is where trust takes root, in repetition, not grand gestures. Use love advice that respects timing. Ask if she wants comfort or solutions before you offer either, and when in doubt, choose comfort first. You must read the room. Some nights she needs a laugh, other nights she needs quiet. Either way, don't take her emotion as a verdict on your worth. Be the man who can sit with silence without fidgeting. Don't weaponize logic against feelings. Feelings aren't court cases to win, they're weather systems to understand. Drop a few smart dating tips into your routine. Schedule a recurring state of us coffee where you both share what's working and what isn't. Celebrate small wins she mentions in passing. Keep a mental note of the stuff that lights her up and bring it back unexpectedly. You must also protect her from your worst impulses: sarcasm, distraction, scorekeeping, and the temptation to make a tough conversation about you. That is leadership, not control, but care under pressure. Emotional safety turns vulnerability into closeness and closeness into loyalty. When she senses you are a sanctuary, her guard lowers, her stories lengthen, her laughter deepens, and her eyes linger like a quiet yes. Don't underestimate how far your steadiness travels. It follows her into meetings, errands, and late night doubts, and she will think of you not because you were loud, but because you were safe. Be relentless about consistency, the daily proof that your respect isn't a mood. You must water the seed you planted, check back on the things that matter to her, keep boundaries with exes and online attention, and make your affection easy to predict. That is how admiration becomes magnetic. If you're collecting psychology tips, love advice, and dating tips you can use today, start simple. I'm listening. I get why that hurt. I'm not going anywhere, and then prove those words on repeat. Comment for your own accountability. I create safety because I understand the power of being a sanctuary for someone's heart. Don't just say it, be it. 2. Consistency. The quiet, almost invisible force that turns a woman's nervous uncertainty into deep emotional safety. The thing that transforms fleeting attraction into unshakable trust. The reason she looks at you with admiration when the world feels shaky. Consistency is not about drama. It's not about grand gestures. It's about being steady, reliable, and real, day in, day out. Think about it. Chaos is everywhere in life. Jobs shift, health falters, money comes and goes. But if you are consistent, you become her anchor. Don't underestimate that. Don't shrug it off as boring. Because consistency is magnetic. It pulls her in without fireworks or noise. It is silent, steady proof of character. Women notice patterns, not one-off acts. Let's be clear, women aren't counting the occasional flowers or the random late-night text. That's smoke. That's fluff. What sticks in her mind are patterns, not the one-off gift, not the empty compliment tossed like a coin into a wishing well, not the grand promise that dissolves into thin air. What she feels deep in her heart is the repeated presence of a man who shows up, not for applause, not for attention, but because that's simply who he is. That is love psychology at its core. The small, quiet proof. Picture this. She watches you in silence, in those everyday moments that matter more than you realize. You said you'd call after work. And you did, even when you were tired. You remembered a silly story she told months ago, and you brought it up again. That small act whispered, "Your words matter to me." When life got messy, you didn't run. You didn't need drama or recognition. You were there because she mattered. That's not attention. That's reliability. A rhythm she can count on. A calm heartbeat in the noise of life. Why it works? Consistency is the difference between chaos and stability, between uncertainty and trust. Every woman feels it, sometimes consciously, sometimes only in her body, as her shoulders finally relax when she's near you. She no longer needs to keep her guard up. Her heart begins to open, quietly, cautiously, but surely. Men ask, how do I attract women? Here's the truth. Consistency is one of the strongest ways. Flashy tricks fade. Smooth words get forgotten. But the steady man, the man who keeps showing up, he wins. That is what turns relationship goals from fantasy into reality. The silent fire. Consistency is not glamorous. It doesn't shout. It doesn't brag. But it burns like a steady fire in the background, warm, dependable, and impossible to ignore. Be that man. Don't chase with noise. Don't disappear when it's hard. Be the constant. Be the one she can bet her heart on. Because every woman, whether she admits it out loud or not, secretly wants that unshakable sense of safety with her man. That's how you attract women not just for a season, but for a lifetime. That's how you live out real relationship goals. If you found this valuable, hit the like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and don't forget to subscribe for more psychology tips and wisdom. Comment below to lock it in. I am consistent and reliable. 3. Presence, mindful attention. Presence is not about being in the same room. It is about commanding the moment with the full weight of your mind, your emotions, and your energy. Women don't want a shadow of a man distracted by his phone or lost in thought. They want a man who radiates mindful attention, who owns the space with his awareness, who makes her feel that nothing else matters but her. Marcus Aurelius, the great old Stoic, once said, "Concentrate every minute like a Roman on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness." That is what presence demands. Don't drift. Don't scatter your focus. Lock in. Be there. When she looks at you, she must see not only your eyes, but the fire of a man who lives with purpose. Picture this. You're sitting with her at a cafe, and the world is noise. Phones buzzing, doors slamming, chatter spilling in waves. To others, it's chaos. But to you, a modern Stoic, it is training ground. You cut through distraction. You silence the outside world with your attention. The clamor fades, and all that remains is her. You notice what most men miss: the twitch of her lip, the pause before she speaks, the slight slump of her shoulders when she hides worry. You notice and you respond with calm awareness. No rushing, no need to fix, just presence. Seneca, another master of Stoicism, said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." And this is the truth. If your mind is scattered across emails, worries, or ambitions while you sit beside her, you are nowhere to her. Don't be nowhere. Be the man who shows up fully. Presence is power. It's the ability to listen between her words, to hear her silences louder than her sentences. It's understanding without interrupting, seeing without needing applause, standing steady without scrambling to impress. Modern men too often confuse presence with performance. They think women want a show. They don't. They want solidity. They want a man who embodies the old Stoic strength, calm under fire, immovable in storms, unshaken by distraction. Don't just sit across from her, sit with her. Don't just hear her, feel her. Don't just notice her, understand her. That is what makes her feel seen. That is what makes her feel honored. In today's world of fractured attention spans and glowing screens, your ability to be present is your weapon, your advantage, your edge. Every scroll steals presence. Every distraction weakens it. But you must fight. You must master this discipline like a soldier of the mind. You must say, "No, I will not drift. I will not divide myself. I will not be half here, half elsewhere." Because presence is victory. Presence is leadership. Presence is love. Napoleon once said, "The truest wisdom is a resolute determination." Let that be your mantra. Determination to look her in the eye, to breathe with her rhythm, to value what she values, to treat her being as sacred. Let's be clear. When a woman feels this level of attention, she doesn't just feel admired. She feels secure. She feels chosen. She feels important. That is the key. That is the hidden secret. Women don't need endless words. They need undeniable presence. Don't underestimate it. Don't forget it. Don't fail to practice it. If you want to win in love, in trust, in intimacy, then presence is not optional. It is essential. Presence is not a trick. It is discipline. Presence is not weakness. It is strength. And presence, practiced daily, will not only transform your relationships, but will transform you into the man who masters himself, the modern Stoic who conquers the chaos of modern life. 4. Strength, calm confidence. Strength, gentlemen, is not the flex of muscle or the loud bark of authority. It's the calm confidence that turns chaos into silence and storms into whispers. Picture life as a raging ocean, waves slamming against the shore, lightning cutting through the sky, winds howling to break everything apart. Most men panic there, thrashing for control, shouting into the storm, proving only how easily they can be swept away. But the man a woman trusts, the man she leans toward without hesitation, is the one who stands tall at the eye of it all, steady, unshaken, unmovable. He doesn't jump at every ripple, doesn't drown in the tide of drama, doesn't let emotion dictate action. He becomes the lighthouse she spots in the darkness, the anchor that keeps her from drifting, the steady pulse of safety she feels in her bones before her mind even catches up. That is real strength. Not the noise, not the show, the silence, the stillness, the unshakable presence that says, "You're safe here." And here's the love advice that matters. Women don't crave men who control everything. They crave men who control themselves. Don't mistake dominance for power. It's mastery over your own storm that makes you magnetic. Think about it. When the world spirals into panic, she notices the man who breathes instead of breaks, who listens when emotions flare instead of firing back, who chooses carefully under pressure instead of reacting like a fuse waiting to blow. That kind of calm is rare. That kind of composure is priceless. It's not loud, but it's unforgettable. Women admire it silently because they feel it deeply. You don't need to announce it, you just need to live it. That's one of the oldest psychology tips you'll ever get, yet most men ignore it. And here's the contrast. Weak men chase control over others. Strong men master themselves. Which one do you think she'll give her heart to? Which one do you think she'll trust when life gets ugly? Be the man who remains grounded, resilient, and unwavering no matter what storm is raging outside. Be the refuge, the sanctuary, the presence she longs for. Understand this. Strength reveals itself not in the grand gestures, but in the small, unnoticed choices. It's there when you keep your voice steady in an argument. It's there when you sit quietly, listening fully, instead of firing off defensive words. It's there when your walk, your posture, your very energy says, "I've got this," without you having to say a thing. That is quiet confidence. That is why your presence becomes irresistible. You must carry yourself in such a way that your calm becomes contagious, your confidence undeniable, your energy magnetic. Dating tips will tell you to dress sharp, crack jokes, buy flowers, and sure, those things matter. But here's the truth no one tells you. All of that crumbles if you're unstable at your core. A woman's deepest desire is not the gift in your hand, but the steadiness in your soul. So don't be fooled. Strength is not dominance. It's not about barking orders, raising your voice, or controlling her choices. It's about being the man who cannot be shaken, the man who knows his own worth, who leads by example without ever forcing. That's when your calm becomes the fire she trusts, your silence the comfort she seeks, your strength the anchor she never knew she needed. Remember this, life will always throw storms your way, but women don't expect you to stop the storm. They want you to remain unshaken inside of it. That is what makes you unforgettable. That is the kind of strength that keeps her heart tethered to yours. And that, my friends, is not just love advice. It's the psychology tips and dating tips that separate boys from men. If you find today's content useful to you, don't forget to share your feelings and lessons with us. Or simply comment, "Very cool." It's a great encouragement for our channel makers. Thank you very much. 5. Respect and admiration. Respect, admiration. These aren't just polite gestures or nice-to-have qualities. They are the silent forces that decide whether a man leaves a forgettable impression or becomes unforgettable in a woman's heart. Every woman carries a universe inside her, layers of thoughts, dreams, fears, and stories she doesn't always share. Don't reduce her to her looks, her charm, or what she can give you. Be the man who respects her mind, her decisions, her independence. That is where true connection begins. The pressure she lives under. Picture this, a woman walking through the world, constantly measured, judged, or misunderstood by people who only see her surface. The curve of her smile, the cut of her dress, the job title on her business card. Almost no one looks deeper. Then there's you. You're not most men. You don't just hear her words, you listen. You don't just notice her strength, you celebrate it. You don't just tolerate her decisions, you honor them, even when they don't line up with your own. That's the kind of man who attracts women on a level that goes far beyond looks or status. Respect, the quiet power. Respect isn't loud. It doesn't need a spotlight. It's powerful precisely because it's quiet. It's giving her space to be herself without trying to control her. It's acknowledging her ambition without letting insecurity creep in. It's treating her ideas as valuable, her opinions as weighty, her independence as sacred. You must understand this. When a woman feels respected, something deep inside her awakens. She begins to trust. She begins to admire. And that admiration transforms into a magnetic bond. That is love psychology at its finest, the kind that creates not just attraction, but lasting influence. Appreciation, the secret ingredient. But don't stop at respect. Add appreciation. That's when the connection becomes irresistible. Appreciation isn't about tossing empty compliments like breadcrumbs. It's about recognizing her essence. Notice her effort when no one else does. Respect her courage when she fights battles you'll never fully see. Don't just compliment her beauty. Acknowledge her intelligence, her creativity, her resilience. That's how you hit real relationship goals, showing her she matters not for what she gives you, but for who she already is. The end of a long day. Now imagine this. She comes home after a brutal day, exhausted, overlooked, maybe even doubting herself. The world has drained her. But she thinks of you, not because you bought her flowers or showered her with attention. No, she remembers how your respect made her feel seen, how your appreciation made her feel alive. While others barely noticed her, you understood her worth. That kind of recognition becomes her safe place, a sanctuary no money can buy, no charm can fake. You become the rare man who doesn't just attract women, you hold their admiration in a way that never fades. So don't just admire her beauty. Respect her soul. Don't just flatter her. Appreciate her essence. That is the path of a man who understands love psychology and masters the art of true connection. Respect and admiration are not optional. They are the foundation. Be that man, and you'll not only achieve your relationship goals, you'll also become the kind of man women remember, trust, and deeply desire. 6. Freedom, autonomy. Freedom, real freedom, is the hidden fuel of attraction, the silent magnet that makes her lean closer, not pull away. And if you want to master the psychology of what every woman secretly craves, understand this. Connection cannot grow in chains. It cannot survive under control. It cannot breathe when suffocated by rules and judgment. Love is composed of a single soul inhabiting two bodies, Aristotle once said, and that soul withers the moment control replaces trust. Don't restrict her. Don't micromanage her. Don't demand obedience like an insecure tyrant. Instead, give her autonomy, because when you give a woman freedom, you give her the space to shine, to stumble, to rise, to grow, to laugh, and to reveal parts of herself she hides from the world. With you, she must feel no pressure to filter her thoughts, no fear to speak her truth, no hesitation to express her contradictions. That is the mark of true power. That is modern stoic strength, discipline, control of self, not of her. The old stoic Marcus Aurelius declared, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Apply that to your relationship. Control yourself, not her. That's stoicism in practice. When you embody this principle, you create a sanctuary where she can exist fully, a space where her independence is not a threat but a gift. Let her pursue her passions, let her challenge your assumptions, let her carve her own path, and she will admire you, respect you, and desire you more deeply than any man who tries to cage her. Understand this contrast. Control builds walls, freedom builds bridges. Control drains attraction, freedom fuels intimacy. Control isolates, freedom unites. In modern life, men waste energy trying to dominate, scrolling through her messages, policing her choices, imposing their insecurities. Don't be that man. Be the one who gives her room to breathe, because freedom does not mean absence. It means presence at the highest level. It is the quiet strength of knowing you don't need to chain what is already drawn to you. This is victory. This is mastery. This is the way of the modern Stoic, a man unshaken by fear, grounded in trust, radiating security. She will feel it, and she will choose you not because she must, but because she wants to, freely, completely, powerfully. That is the secret every woman desires, the strength of a man who does not fear her freedom, but celebrates it. Remember this truth, repeat it until it burns into your mind. Don't control, don't confine, don't suffocate. Respect her autonomy. Honor her individuality. Trust her independence. When you do, you don't lose power, you gain it. You don't weaken attraction, you multiply it. And that is how you transform ordinary companionship into extraordinary connection, fleeting spark into lasting fire, casual interest into lifelong intimacy. Be decisive, be powerful, be free, and let her be free too. That is how you win. That is how you master life. Freedom is the spark of lasting attraction. A woman doesn't fall for control. She falls for the man who gives her space to be fully herself. Comment below with power. I create freedom, not control. 7. Emotional validation. Don't confuse listening with validation, because women don't just want ears, they want presence. They don't just want a man nodding along, they want a man who can truly see them, who recognizes the weight of their emotions, honors their inner storms, and respects their quiet dreams. That is not about swooping in like some knight with ready-made solutions. It's not about fixing, rescuing, or giving step-by-step love advice. It's about being strong enough to simply hold space for her. That means letting her know her tears are not weakness, her fears are not silly, her frustrations are not overreactions, and her hopes are not naive. You must show her that every piece of her emotional world is valid, real, and deeply important. Picture this. She walks into the house after a day that has clawed at her patience. She drops her bag, exhales, and the weight on her shoulders is invisible but crushing. Most men, well-meaning but clueless, jump into fix-it mode. They tell her to calm down, they throw quick solutions at her, or they crack jokes to change the subject. But don't be that guy. Be the rare man who pauses. Be the man who listens not just with his ears, but with his heart. Don't interrupt. Don't judge. Don't hand out advice like it's a vending machine. Instead, lean in, stay present, and recognize what she's carrying without trying to erase it. When you mirror her emotions, when you say things like, I can see how hard this is for you, or that must have been really frustrating, you're not just parroting back words, you're telling her that her inner experience matters. That validation is invisible to the eye but unforgettable to the soul. It's the psychology tip most men ignore, yet it's the very glue that binds intimacy. To her, it whispers, I see you. I get you. You matter to me. Your feelings are safe here. That's more powerful than diamonds, more intoxicating than flowers, more lasting than a dozen grand gestures. Don't underestimate it. Emotional validation builds a foundation stronger than any dating tip you'll ever hear. It fosters trust, melts defenses, and creates a loyalty that money, gifts, or flattery can't buy. Without it, she may still stay, but she'll stay guarded, only half open, never fully revealing her deepest self. With it, she learns that she can be vulnerable with you, that she can bring her whole heart, messy, raw, unfiltered, and you won't flinch. That kind of safety is rare, and when you provide it, you become irreplaceable. Think long term. Over time, validation transforms the entire relationship. It turns ordinary conversations into intimate exchanges. It turns fleeting attention into lasting devotion. It turns respect into magnetic desire. That is why women silently crave it and why so many men fail without even realizing. Be the man who doesn't dismiss, doesn't minimize, doesn't roll his eyes. Be the man who validates. That's the quiet force that makes her not just love you, but choose you again and again. And if you want real love advice, the kind that keeps her heart tethered to yours for decades, remember this psychology tip. Validation isn't optional. It's essential. 8. Unwavering security and lasting commitment. There's one truth every man must understand if he wants to attract women and keep their love alive. Every woman, deep down, silently craves security. Not the kind that comes from a bank account balance or a fancy car, though, let's be honest, those don't hurt, but the kind that radiates from your character, your actions, and your commitment. That is the ultimate foundation of lasting attraction. That is what builds trust. That is what fuels emotional fulfillment and long-term relationship goals. The difference between control and inspiration. Don't mistake control for security. Big mistake. A woman doesn't want you dictating her choices, shrinking her world, or demanding constant attention. That kind of man suffocates rather than strengthens. What she secretly longs for is a man who inspires, not a general barking orders, but a leader who makes her feel braver, freer, and more alive just by being in his orbit. She doesn't want a prison guard. She wants a lighthouse. Be that man. Be the one whose presence lifts her higher, whose words challenge her in the right way, and whose actions awaken her hidden potential. A man like that? Unforgettable. Not because of what he says, but because of the silent authority he carries. Picture this. Imagine her watching you in life's chaos. Bills piling up, work falling apart, people doubting you. Yet there you stand, calm, focused, unshaken. Your confidence doesn't need a megaphone. It speaks in your steady decisions. It shows in the way you walk into a storm and still move with direction. You don't push. You don't panic. You lead. That calmness is intoxicating. That strength, without arrogance, is magnetic. That is love psychology at its purest. What real inspiration looks like. Let's get real. Inspiration isn't about posting motivational quotes or making promises after 2 glasses of whiskey. Inspiration is rooted in action. It's the courage to face challenges when others quit. It's holding steady when chaos rains down. It's pursuing your goals with fire while silently motivating others to pursue theirs. Most importantly, it's integrity. Doing the right thing even when nobody is watching. That's where true security comes from. Not a fake smile, not empty words, but a character that doesn't bend under pressure. Because here's the truth. Recognition fades. Looks change. Wealth shifts. But integrity? That never goes out of style. And that's the very soil where lasting attraction grows. Your silent test. Every man is tested not by exams, not by enemies, but by the silent gaze of the woman beside him. She's watching not just how you treat her, but how you face the world. Do you crumble under pressure or rise above it? Do you chase hollow pleasures or build a life with vision? Do you talk big or do you quietly prove, day after day, that you're a man who keeps his word? That is the difference between being temporary and being unforgettable. If you want to attract women, remember this. It's not about flexing control. It's about radiating security. It's about being her safe harbor in the storm and her fire when she's tired of the dark. Commit to lasting strength. Commit to integrity. Commit to being the man who doesn't just love with words, but proves it through action. Because security isn't just what she wants. It's what she needs. And it's the very thing that makes love last. My friends, these 8 principles aren't cheap tricks to attract women. They're the foundation for becoming a man who is grounded, confident, and truly magnetic. When you live with emotional safety, consistency, presence, inner strength, respect, freedom, validation, and lasting commitment, you don't just touch a woman's heart, you elevate your own life. So here's my advice. Don't treat these as quick fixes. Take one principle, start practicing it today, and build from there. Change doesn't happen overnight, but steady steps will transform who you are and how others see you. If you found this valuable, give this video a like, hit the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future content. And don't forget to drop a comment. Which principle resonated with you the most? What's the one thing you realized you need to change about yourself starting today? I'll be reading all your comments. Thank you for watching, and may you always become the kind of man everyone respects and admires. See you in the next video, my friends.